Hello, good morning children. Today in this video I am going to explain what books and burials tell us the remaining part. Yesterday about these megaliths you have learned. Now let's see finding out about social differences. Finding out about social differences. Archaeologists think that objects found with a skeleton probably belong to the dead person. So after finding these megaliths, archaeologists what they thought, the objects found with a skeleton probably belong to the dead person, because they kept with the dead bodies. That's why they thought that those things all they belong to the dead person only. Sometimes more objects are found in one grave than in another. In some megaliths, they found many objects more. Find Brahmagiri on map 2 in page number 14. Here, one skeleton was buried with 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads, 4 copper bangles and 1 conch shell. Now, I will show you children page number 14 Brahmagiri. Okay, page number 14 Brahmagiri. Let's see. Okay, so this is page number 14 Brahmagiri. This was Brahmagiri. So in this place archaeologists found a megalith with what the objects they found there here? 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads, 4 copper bangles and 1 conch shell. So in the megalith they found all these things: gold, stone beads, copper and 1 conch shell. Other skeletons have only a few parts. These finds suggest that there was some difference in status amongst the people who were buried. So, some of them have parts and some of them have some things, horses like, and some have gold beads, stones, copper bangles and like. That means these dead bodies and the objects there they are keeping, it depends upon the dead person's status. How rich they are, those many things they will keep. If they are common people means they will keep only small things like that. Some were rich, others poor, some chiefs, others followers. So, the dead bodies, the objects, they represents the status of the people. Now, were some burial spots meant for certain families? You know, already for in some places, for Hindus, one graveyard, and for others, Christians, one graveyard will be there, and Muslims, one graveyard. So, here, according to the religion or to the status, maybe there also burial spots also for certain families. Here, in the previous days, there were not these many religions, but kings, ministers, common people, Vaishyas, Sudras, like that, some castes are there. So, maybe there also the differences may be there. Were there here they were asking us, were there? Let's see whether there are differences or not there. Sometimes megaliths contain more than one skeleton. These indicate that people, perhaps belonging to the same family, were buried in the same place, though not at the same time. Okay, sometimes megaliths contain more than one skeleton. In that megaliths, not only one skeleton, there are some other skeletons also found. Then archaeologists thought that maybe the skeletons belong to the persons of the same family. Of course, they may have died on different times, but all the one family's persons, they may be kept in one megalith only. The bodies of those who died later were brought into the grave through the portholes. So, maybe they keep a hole near that megalith, and through that hole maybe they have kept the dead bodies in that megaliths. Stone circles or boulders placed on the surface probably served as signposts to find the burial site, so that people could return to the same place whenever they wanted to. So here see, like this they have kept now. This is burial spot. Maybe in the next picture, no, the picture is not there. See, if this is a, see children, if this is a burial spot, burial ground, maybe they have kept a hole like this, a mark they kept, and from here maybe they have sent these dead bodies of the same families. Okay, other bodies from this family. Stone circles or boulders are here. They may keep these stones also like this round shape, and these may be sign pots, symbol like that. If this maybe the whoever gone to bury the dead body, they may thought they may identify that this is the whole of this burial site, and through this they can open and keep the dead body here like that. And this burial site also they have pointed out like this, and if this is sign marks are there, means they can come back to the burial site whenever they wanted and easily identify the megalith. Okay, the burial site of that family. Next, a special burial at Inamgaon. A special burial at Inamgaon. What? Let's see. Find Inamgaon and map to page number 14. Again, come back to the same place, children. 14, page number 14. Inamgaon. See, here this one, Inamgaon. Okay. This is the site. Inamgaon. Okay. Now, come back to the lesson. It is a site on the river Ghod, a tributary of the Bhima. So, on the tributary of the Bhima, it is a site on the river Ghod. It was occupied between 3600 and 2700 years ago. Here, adults were generally buried in the ground, laid out straight with the head towards the north. So, this is the north direction on the map. Okay. So, keeping the head this side, they will keep the dead body like this. Sometimes, burials were within the houses. Vessels that probably contained food and water were placed with the dead. Sometimes what these people did, they have kept the dead bodies in the house only. They have kept the dead bodies in the house, and they have kept some vessels with food and all the objects, whatever the body wants, the dead person needed. One man was found buried in a large 4-legged clay jar in the courtyard of a 5-roomed house. So, archaeologists found a person 4-legged clay jar. Okay, 4-legged like a cot. It will be there, legged clay jar. That means earthen only. And in the courtyard of a 5-roomed house. If the house is here, means in the courtyard only they found this burial site. One of the largest houses at the site. That also they have found in the largest houses of this. Which site? Inamgaon site. That means they have kept the burial site in the courtyard of the house only. In the center of the settlement. This house had a granary. The body was placed in a cross-legged position, and the body was placed in a cross-legged. While we are sleeping, we will keep our legs like this, cross-legged. In that, like that position, that body was placed, keeping the head to the north direction. Like that, they have kept. Do you think this was the body of a chief? Give reasons for everyone. Because all of them, they will keep the dead bodies in outside. But here, this dead body in the courtyard only they have found, and that also on the 4-legged clay jar they have kept in the, and that house also a 5-roomed house. That much big means maybe that person may be a chief. Yes or not? Do you think? Here they were asking you only. Give reasons for your answers. If you think the body was of a chief, then how you are saying, you have to give reasons. Next. What skeletal studies tell us? So, by learning all these, what these skeletal studies, all these, knowing about these megaliths and all these, what they will tell us? It is easy to make out the skeleton of a child from its small size. However, there are no major differences in the bones of a girl and a boy. Can we make out whether a skeleton was that of a man or a woman? So, see, if we see a small skeleton, we can say that this is a child skeleton, and that big one means an adult's skeleton. But from the big skeleton, can we guess that is a skeleton of a man or skeleton of a woman? We don't know. Sometimes people decide on the basis of what is found with the skeleton. But archaeologists analyzed that whatever the objects in the megaliths they kept, they have guessed that maybe if these swords and weapons they have kept means maybe they are of men, and bangles. Okay, what the analysis they have given, we will see. For instance, if a skeleton is found with jewelry, it is sometimes thought to be that of a woman. If the skeleton is found with jewelry, means it is. But how it could be? Because in olden days, men also used to wear jewelry, na? Okay. See here what they have given. However, there are problems with this. Often men also wore ornaments. So here only my doubt also they have expressed, children. See here, men also wore ornaments. A better way of figuring out of the sex of a skeleton is to look at the bone structure. The hip or the pelvic area of women is generally larger to enable childbearing. So the hip area, the pelvic bone will be larger. That means the hip area of a person. Okay, see children, if this is the body, okay, this is the hip area. Hip area, okay, here the hip bones, here the women bones will be more than, wider than the men's. That's why if we see the hip bones here, then we can say that this is the body of a woman or the skeleton of a woman or a man, like that. The structure, with the structure we can find. Area of women is generally larger to enable childbearing because they give birth to babies. That's why the area, the hip area will be, pelvic area of women is generally larger comparing to men. These distinctions are based on modern skeletal studies. About 2000 years ago, there was a famous physician named Charaka who wrote a book on medicine known as the Charaka Samhita. About 2000 years ago, there was a physician, famous physician Charaka. Okay, what the book he has written? Charaka Samhita. Charaka Samhita. There he states that the human body has 360 bones. The human body has how many bones? 360 bones. This is a much larger number than the 200 bones that are recognized in modern anatomy. In modern anatomy, we will say that only human beings are having 200 bones. But in Charaka Samhita, he has said that how many bones human body is having? 360 bones. Charaka arrived at this figure by counting the teeth, joints and cartilage. So, he has counted the teeth, joints and cartilage also. How would you think he found out about the human body in such great detail? So, see, in olden days there was no technology. Then also he was able to figure out the number of bones including teeth, joints and cartilage also. See how wonder it is, children. Now, occupations at Inamgaon. Archaeologists have found seeds of wheat, barley, rice, pulses, millets, peas and sesame. Bones of a number of animals, many bearing cut marks that show they may have been used as food, have also been found. So, these food grains and the bones of animals, that may be, we can come to a conclusion that in those days only they have cultivated these many types of grains also, grains and millets, and used the animals as food also. These bones include cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, dog, horse, ass, pig, sambar, spotted deer, black buck, antelope, hare and mongoose, Besides birds, crocodile, turtle, crab and fish. That means these many types of animals and birds, skeletons they have found, bones they have found. There is evidence that fruits such as bear, amla, jamun, dates and a variety of berries were collected. And different types of fruits also, the evidences of fruits also they have found in these sites. Use this evidence to list the possible occupations of the people at Enamgaon. So, taking that list, we can find out the occupations also. Next, elsewhere. Find China in your atlas. Around 3500 years ago, we find some of the first evidence of writing in China. That means around 3500 years ago only, first evidence of writing. Okay, written document we have. Written document evidence you have found in, archaeologists found in China. These writings were on animal bones. These are called oracle bones. Oracle bones because they were used to predict the future. See, that means here the historians what they have done writings. The scribes they have written on the animals' bones also, so that they may be secured for future generation, because bones are very strong, they can survive for long time, and to predict the future they have written on the bones. Kings got scribes to write questions on the bones. Would they win battles? Would the harvest be good? Would they have sons? The bones were then put into the fire and they cracked because of the heat. Then fortune tellers studied these cracks and tried to predict the future. So the kings, what they have done with these bones, whatever they want to know about the future, that question they will write on the bones and they will keep the bone in the fire. So if we keep the bone in the fire, due to the heat, the bone will break. So by studying those cracks, the fortune tellers, they will predict the future. As you may expect, they sometimes made mistakes. Now also so many of us are going to fortune tellers now to know about our future, how it will be, what to do, sacrifices like that. So many will go, and this is often we will found in Hinduism. These kings lived in palaces in cities. They amassed vast quantities of wealth, including large, elaborately decorated bronze vessels. However, they did not know the use of iron. Of course, by the time they have used bronze vessels, but by the time they don't know the use of iron. List one difference between the Raja of the Rigveda and these kings. So, here they are asking you to do this. So, this is the end of the lesson, children. I hope you understood the content. So, fifth chapter, what books and burials tell us. This is completed by this session. Thank you. Have a nice day.